Hey guys, this is Mrs. Brown, and I am here to read to you my final bedtime story for the school year. And I'm here with my fourth graders. I thought it'd be super fun to have them share in this video. So why don't y'all just wave hi? All right, now I'm going to turn the camera back over here, and I'm going to read this story to you. And this is called The Last Day Blues. All right, you don't want to see me. All right, The Last Day Blues. This is by Julie Danberg, illustrated by Judy Love. Interesting, okay? All right, The Last Day Blues. If you know anything about blues, when someone is blue, it means they're kind of sad, okay? So the last day blues, we're sad to be at Cartersville Elementary anymore, but we're excited in our fourth grade class to move on to middle school. So let's see what this story is about. Oh, look at the teachers here. They're also sad. The kids are on the bus. They're also sad because their teachers, the teachers are leaving, or the kids are leaving. The teachers look so sad, don't they? And they're like, no. All right. On the morning before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell took attendance. She sighed as she called out the last name. "I'm going to miss all of you," she said. The kids nodded in agreement. "I'm going to miss my friends," said Shannon. "I'm going to miss Daisy," said Dan. So Daisy must be their snake. Ooh, "I'm going to miss chocolate milk and pizza for lunch," said Joe. Everyone felt a little blue, thinking about the last day of school. Even Daisy, she looks a little sad too, doesn't she? That afternoon during recess, the students talked as they hung out on the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell said she's going to miss us," said Alexandra, swinging from a bar. "We should get a present to cheer her up," said Eddie, hanging upside down by his knees. But what could they get her? "Oh, I know. I can give her the rest of my sandwich. It's my mom's bologna special," said Josh. "Or a coffee cup.
Disgusting.
Or a new pen, the kind with feathers and beads." Please don't get me one of those. Okay.
I might.
The students thought and thought, but wouldn't come up with a single idea that they all agreed upon. "We'll think of something tomorrow," Eddie assured everyone as they lined up at the drinking fountain. Uh-oh. Not nice. Oh, look at the teacher. Ha! It's funny. On the Tuesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell read the final page of their last read-aloud book. "I'm going to miss circle time," said Mrs. Hartwell. "I'm going to miss science," said Emily. "I'm going to miss seeing Mrs. Hartwell wear her safety glasses during science," said Jack, giggling. And so, before they got too sad, Mrs. Hartwell put on her safety goggles one last time, just for fun.
She got a big face. That's all right.
"We definitely need to cheer Mrs. Hartwell up," said Andy during recess as he jumped off the swing. "Any ideas about a present?" "Nope," they all answered back. So do you think Mrs. Hartwell is going to be super duper sad that they're all leaving? Yeah. On the Wednesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell brought in super duper sugar cookies with extra frosting. "I'm going to miss snack time, but I can't wait for barbecues by the pool," said Jack. "I'm going to miss recess, but I can't wait to play hide and seek outside after dinner," said Alexandra. "I'll miss school, but I can't wait for summer vacation," said Josh. The class discussed their summer plans and drowned their last day blues with another round of milk and sugar cookies. "I don't know whether to be happy or sad today," Andy said the minute they all arrived at the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell is sad," said Olivia. "She probably doesn't want the year to end. While we're swimming, she'll be reading her old lesson plans," said Walker. Look at her crying. She's looking at her lesson plan book. "And while we're playing, She'll be trying to remember the fun times we had this year, said Dan. And that's when an idea zipped, zapped, and zinged through Eddie's brain. I know exactly what will cheer her up, Eddie said, jumping down from the jungle gym. The class agreed that it was perfect. On the Thursday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Eddie raised his hand right after Mrs. Hartwell started language arts. We need some privacy, please, he said. So they're all they got something up their sleeve, don't they? So Mrs. Hartwell took down the bulletin boards with her back to the class. She never even peeked. Well, only once. On the morning of the Friday, that was the last day of school, the students dashed into the classroom.
That would be fun.
They snapped open the shades for the very last time. They did their chores for the very last time. They fed Daisy for the very last time. And as soon as the bell rang, they couldn't wait for Mrs. Hartwell to see her present for the very first time. Oh, here it is. They gave her this, and they made her a poem, and it says, "The last day of school makes us so blue, we'll miss recess and pizza and reading too. We'll miss Daisy and cookies and friendship true, snack time and science and learning new. We'll miss spelling bees for our test review and groundhogs that play peekaboo. This year's been great, a big wahoo! There are many things to miss, it's true, but mostly what we'll miss is you." And they signed all their names around the edge of the poster that they made. Later on, oh, look at the teachers. During recess, Eddie said, "I think Mrs. Hartwell liked her present." "I just hope it helps," Margaret said. "Poor Mrs. Hartwell," they all said sadly as they pictured their final goodbye. Teachers must really hate the last day of school. Look at this. Look at this. They're all crying. They're sobbing. And then it was time. The bell rang. "Goodbye," the students called as they rushed out the door. "Goodbye," Mrs. Hartwell called after them. And then she returned to her empty classroom. "It's just you and me, Daisy," she said. "Sure gonna miss them this summer. But I can't wait for vacation." And there she is, there on the beach. All right, we've got one final little word here for you. All right, you guys ready? Here we go.